14 teams, each with a common goal, but only 7 will walk away with titles. Welcome to the KELOLAND High School Football Championship Preview Show. I'm Travis Fossing alongside Bailey Millen.
Tonight we'll preview all 7 championship games, hearing from coaches and players from all 14 teams, and we begin with the state's biggest class of football.
The Class 11 AAA championship game featuring Brandon Valley and Washington is a rematch of the 2016 title tilt, which the Warriors won 41-31. Brandon Valley is seeking its first championship since 1998, while Washington has its sights set on a 4th straight crown. Kickoff is set for 7:30 Saturday night at the Dakota Dome in Vermillion. The Lynx haven't won a title in 2 decades, but are no strangers to big games, topping O'Gorman 29-15 in this year's semifinals, while advancing to the semis and finals multiple times in recent years. Brandon Valley lost to Washington in the 2016 and 12 championship games and opened the season with a 28-14 loss to the Warriors. The Lynx have grown exponentially since, especially up front in the trenches.
We knew we had a lot of inexperience playing, so we knew it would take us some time to get where we're at today. But our biggest improvement, offensive line wise, we only started 2 kids at any playing experience. So for those guys to gel and to be part of our running game, what we like to do, we knew would take some time.
Garrow believes the 2 best teams will meet on Saturday and says to be the best, you've got to beat the best.
To be considered the best, you want to beat the best. So, they're the reigning state champs 3 years in a row, so that's really who you want to beat if you're going to win the state championship.
The Lynx will attempt to become just the 3rd different champion since Class 11 AAA was introduced in 2013. After losing 2 of 3 games to start the season, including a shutout loss against Roosevelt, Washington has won 8 straight games and avenged its loss to the Rough Riders in the semifinals. The Warriors are the 3-time defending 11 AAA champion and appear to be hitting their stride. But head coach Chad Statham knows Brandon Valley isn't the same team Washington beat back in Week 1.
They're more athletic than when we faced them last time. They're playing really well. Defensively, it's amazing how well they're playing. And they're fast, and they're strong, and they're young, and they're going to be good for the next few years. But we know we're up for a big challenge. We're kind of the underdog here coming in. They're seated above us. So, it's going to be a different game than it was a couple months ago.
Statham says the Warriors have to be equally good on offense and defense. The D has to keep the BV grinded out offense off the field, while the O racks up points.
We just need to play really well on offense. I mean, that's going to be the key, I think. Defensively, if our guys can make stops, offensively, we need to put points on the board because we can't get behind with what the style of ball that they play. And it's going to be a tall task for our offense, I know that. So we really got to try to lean on our defense like we did this last game.
Kickoff is set for 7:30 Saturday at the Dakota Dome.
Pierre and Huron will cross paths in the Class 11 AA championship game. The Governors are the defending champion, while the Tigers are making their first trip to the finals since winning the 1992 state championship. Kickoff is set for 7:30 Friday night at the Dakota Dome. The 11 AA defending champion Pierre Governors return to defend their title at the Dome after defeating Brookings in the semifinals. The Govs lost their opening game of the season to Harrisburg, but won 9 of their next 10, with their lone loss coming to 11 AAA's Roosevelt. Head coach Steve Steele says despite their 34-7 win over Huron earlier this season, his team is expecting a much different Tiger team Friday night.
They're going to be excited. Their whole town's going to be there. It's going to be packed, and it'll be a fun atmosphere, and they're playing good football right now. In the playoffs, it's not always about your record or about how good you are. It's about how good you are tonight, So we're just going to have to be ready, and we're going to have to prepare and, have adjustments ready. I think it's very hard to beat a team twice in a season, especially having won the first time, just because you don't feel the need to make as many adjustments and changes. So we'll have to have a lot of things ready.
The Govs will be looking for their 3rd AA state title in school history. After opening the season with 3 straight wins, Huron lost 4 of 5 games to close the regular season, but posted playoff wins at Harrisburg and Yankton to advance to the championship game. The Tigers suffered a 34-7 loss at Pierre in mid-September, but head coach Michael Schmitz says his team has turned a corner in the past few weeks.
we started off really well, and then we kind of hit that slide in the middle, and we just kind of continue to focus on ourselves and what we could improve on, and the kids really buying into playing as fast as we can and as aggressive as we can, and that really kind of helped us turn things around. Pierre's an extremely good team. They do a lot of good things offensively and defensively, but I think the first time we played them, we didn't play up to our expectations or what we thought we could have done, and I think this time around it should be a closer ball game. Should be a really good game.
The Tigers and Govs meet in the finals Friday night at 7:30.
We'll preview the Class 11A and 11B championship games next. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KELOLAND High School Football Championship Preview Show.
Class 11A will crown a new champion for the first time since Madison started its run of titles in 2015. Dell Rapids beat the Bulldogs in the quarterfinals and will play top-seeded T area in Thursday's championship game. The Titans are seeking their first ever championship, while the Warriors won 5 titles between 2008 and 2014. Kickoff is set for 7:30 Thursday night at the Dakota Dome. T area earned the top seed in Class 11A with a win over previously undefeated Dakota Valley to close the regular season. The Titans then proceeded to post shutout wins against Hot Springs and West Central, advancing to the finals for the first time since finishing runner-up in 2016. Head coach Craig Clayberg says his Titans are eager to prove they belong in the championship game.
The kids worked hard all the off season, and they just they wanted to get back there and prove that we can make it back, and it wasn't just a one-time thing. And it's just fortunate. A lot of teams don't get a chance to be there, and to be able to go again, it's a big thing for us and for our school and community.
The Titans will look for a repeat performance of their 56-6 late September win at Dell Rapids in the 11A finals. Dell Rapids avenged a pair of regular season losses in the playoffs. The Warriors knocked off 3-time defending champion Madison in the quarterfinals before outlasting Dakota Valley 25-22 in the semifinals. Dell Rapids will have an opportunity to redeem itself again in the finals against T area. Head coach Jordan Huska says if the Warriors want to come out on top Thursday, the formula is simple.
It's going to end up being a close football game. I feel like it would be a close football game. We'd have to be resilient like we have the last couple of weeks where we don't necessarily ride the ups and downs of the game. That we played a solid football game in all 3 phases. We'll have to execute well in all 3 phases of the game to have that happen for us.
The Warriors and Titans clash Thursday night with kickoff set for 7:30.
BridgewaterEthan won 3 9AA championships between 2010 and 2013, but has its sights set on an 11-man title as the Seahawks play Sioux Falls Christian in the 11B championship game. The Chargers are the defending champs. Kickoff is set for 1 o'clock Friday at the Dakota Dome. BridgewaterEthan enters the state championship bout at 10-1. The Seahawks have been on a mission all season after a runner-up finish to Sioux Falls Christian in the Dakota Dome last year, and now they're eager to get another shot at the defending 11B champions come Friday afternoon.
Well, I think the kids have been really focused. It's just something that last year we got a bad taste in our mouth coming out of there, and not taking anything away from Sioux Falls Christian, but that bad taste kind of carried with us, kind of motivated us all season. We've talked about it a lot, and something that has kind of been our focus this week.
We got a really bad taste in our mouth from last year, and I mean, Brady Hawkins a sophomore and Carter Dye a senior, and then Sawyer Schultz back. He didn't get to play at all last year, and it's great to feel that we get to play on the turf and in a nice warm dome.
The Seahawks will attempt to win their first 11-man state championship and first football championship since 2013. Sioux Falls Christian enters the championship game with 2 losses on the season. The Chargers dropped a Week 3 contest to Canton, but avenged that loss in the 11B semifinals last week. Sioux Falls Christian returns to the state championship for the 2nd straight season, but head coach Jake Pettengill says the Chargers enter this year's title tilt as the underdog.
We're going against a Bridgewater team that is the number 2 seed and basically lost 1 game this year and got after an 11A team. And so yeah, we want to be prepared to come out and play against a team that wants to hit us in the mouth, that we beat last year, but it's a new season, and we look at it as different players, different kids on the team, and so we just want to come out and play some quality Sioux Falls Christian football.
The 11B state championship rematch is set for 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon.
We'll spotlight the 9-man brand of football next. You're watching the KELOLAND High School Football Championship Preview Show.
Welcome back to the KELOLAND High School Football Championship Preview Show.
Gregory has captured back-to-back 9AA championships, but lost to Bonham in last month's quarterfinals. The Cavaliers will play Kimball White Lake in this year's championship game. Bonham is seeking its first title since winning back-to-back 11B championships in the mid-90s. While Kimball White Lake is seeking its first state championship as a co-op. Kimball won back-to-back 9B titles in 2003 and 4. Kickoff is set for 1 o'clock Thursday. Bonham avenged its lone loss of the season with a 44-22 win at Woolsey-Wessington in the 9AA semifinals. Cavaliers have won 9 straight games, including a 25-7 victory at Kimball White Lake in early September. Head coach Byron Pudwill is proud of what his team has accomplished, while the players are excited about the opportunity at hand.
We've kind of been the underdog no matter what we did. And they just worked so hard. Great group of seniors, and they're weight room junkies, film junkies, and really happy with them.
Oh, it feels amazing. I have no words. Oh man. We played them before and we know what we did well at, so same thing, our defense needs to be big, make good tackles, and then start up front on our offense and drive the ball, and then we'll win it our style.
Thursday's game marks Bonham's first ever appearance in a 9-man championship game. Kimball White Lake returns to the 9AA championship game for the first time since finishing runner-up in 2011. The 7th-seeded Wildcats earned their spot in the finals with 3 road wins in the playoffs, including a 42-14 victory over Garrettson in the semifinals. The Cats have won 6 straight games, and head coach Dale Taylor says they're hitting their stride at just the right time.
We started out a little bit slow, but coming down the stretch here, it seems like our athletes have just really been playing for each other, and it's been an exciting time for them. Defensively, it's kind of been our strength all year long, but it seems like lately our offense has been putting points on the board to be able to get these final wins at the end of the season.
The 9AA championship game kicks off Thursday at 1 o'clock.
A pair of recent champions will meet in the 9A championship game as Canastota Freeman plays Howard. The Tigers won the 2014 title, while Canastota won the crown a year later. Howard and Canastota Freeman open championship play Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. Canastota Freeman is making its first trip to the Dakota Dome as a co-op. The Pride is 10-1 this season, including a 36-12 win over Howard in Week 2. But head coach James Strang says his team has some unfinished business after a poor second half against the Tigers. Strang will lean on his senior class to lead the Pride in their championship debut.
It's their responsibility to make sure everybody is on the same page and doing things the right way. The same guys that started the season out as our captains and our leaders, they got to show up, make sure everybody plays with themselves and plays with each other. So that same group, and by this point in the year, a lot of younger guys have stepped up, and they got to do their part to make sure we're leading the right way as well.
Canastota Freeman will be seeking its first football state championship as a co-op. After knocking off 3rd-seeded Warner in the quarterfinals, Howard then upset 2nd-ranked and defending 9A champion Britton Hecla 12-8 in the semifinals to earn their way to the title game. Their win over the Braves marked the 2nd straight game the Tiger defense held their opponents to under 8 points. Head coach Pat Rummel knows if Howard wants to avenge an earlier season loss to Canastota Freeman, they'll need another strong performance from the defense.
With them, they're very well coached, and the biggest thing about them is the speed that they bring with the quick guys they have out there. So, and their passing game's good as well as their running. So, they pose some challenges for us. We've been playing against some pretty speedy guys. The Britton Hecla was very fast, and so, I think we like where we're at defensively.
Kickoff between the Tigers and Pride is set for 10 o'clock Thursday morning.
6 down, 1 to go. We'll preview the Class 9B championship game next. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KELOLAND High School Football Championship Preview Show.
Colome claimed the Class 9B championship last November with a 42-28 win over Sully Butte. The Hawks lost to Colome in this year's quarterfinals and will watch a battle of unbeaten teams in the championship game as the Cowboys play Sully Butte. The Chargers are no stranger to the finals but haven't won a title since 1989, while Colome is 2 years removed from its last championship. Kickoff is set for 10 o'clock Friday morning. Top-ranked and undefeated Sully Butte scored 40 unanswered points as they topped Fulton area 48-14 to advance to the 9B state championship. The Chargers will be making their second straight 9B title game appearance, but will hope to change the result after they fell to Colome last year. Sully Butte's head coach Mark Seffner feels that championship game experience from last year will help have his guys ready on Friday.
Just that experience, and I think our kids understand that, you know, when that opening kickoff comes, they've got to be ready to go. We made some mistakes early in the game, and as the game went on, we got more comfortable. You know, hopefully we learn that we've got to be ready from the start, and we've got to be focused, and that's going to start with a great week of practice.
The Chargers will be making their 6th state championship appearance and will look for their first title since 1989.
Colome is making its 5th appearance in the Class 9B championship game since 2006, winning titles in 2007 and 16, and earned its spot in the finals with a 74-28 win over Wall in the semifinals. Colome is a perfect 11-0 on the season, featuring a senior-heavy roster, which leaves head coach Ben Connett a variety of talented options each week.
Throughout the year, we've had to ride the hot hand, whoever it was. We've always had a guy step up, all the way from sophomore Michael Supik in Scotland to Chase Duvik and Burt. It's been a different guy every week step up for us, and we just got to find it and get him the ball.
Having all the playmakers that we have, it's not really just dependent on one guy, so it makes it easier throughout the whole team, and it makes it harder for the other teams to prepare for us.
Colome and Sully Butte cross paths Friday in Vermilion. Kickoff is set for 10 o'clock. This week's schedule of championship games and hits and helmets are next. We'll be right back. The slate of championship games starts on Thursday. It all begins with Class 9A at the Dakota Dome in Vermilion. Kickoff set for 10 o'clock as Canastota Freeman takes on Howard, followed by the 9AA championship game at around 1 o'clock between Bonham and Kimball White Lake. And day one of the state championships concludes in the evening, 7:30 kickoff in 11A between T area and Del Rapids.
And of course, as we mentioned earlier in the show, there will be a new 11A champion as T area meets Del Rapids. We'll see if the Couriers can avenge a regular season loss to the Titans and get a state title victory.
The championship games continue on Friday with 9B at 10 o'clock. It's Sully Butte and Colome, a battle of unbeatens at the Dome, followed by 11B at 1 o'clock. BridgewaterEthan taking on Sioux Falls Christian, and the nightcap in 11AA, Pierre against Huron, beginning at 7:30.
And in that 11B game, I spoke with both those teams. That should be some smash-mouth football as they are both eager to meet each other again in the Dakota Dome. Again, Bridgewater lost to Sioux Falls Christian last season, so looking to avenge that runner-up finish from a year ago.
Could be a quick game, too. Both teams like to run the football. And the finals conclude on Saturday as Brandon Valley plays Washington in the Class 11 AAA championship game. These two teams have been good for a number of years. Washington, the 3-time defending champion, beat Brandon Valley in the finals just 2 years ago, so should be a fun one to conclude things at the Dakota Dome. Sports Calendar is brought to you by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Reach your more.
It's time to honor the top plays and playmakers with a special playoff edition of Hits and Helmets.
Hits and Helmets brought to you by Avera Orthopedics. Make your move to the largest orthopedic physician team in the region, Avera Orthopedics. Thanks for watching and enjoy this week's championship games.